Yaya, Yaya, Yaya!
What?
The new Fantastic Beasts trailer is out.
You mean the one that came out last week?
Yes, and you haven't said word one.
Well then.
Greetings, Internet, and welcome to Mind the Edge with Yaya. I'm Yaya, and today we're enough intro. Get to the good part, like Jude Law's playing Dumbledore, or that Tina and Queenie are back, or the fact that the movie's called Fantastic Beasts. Before the comment section has a field day, let me just say that I'm not criticizing this movie. It hasn't even come out yet, and you can bet that I will be in the theater when it does. However, there better be some Fantastic Beasts in this movie. We're getting off track. Let's return to the trailer, because I have a lot of questions. Now, in the first 20 seconds of the trailer, we see 3 people apparate onto the grounds at Hogwarts. My first question was, wait a minute, you can't apparate onto the grounds at Hogwarts. Explain yourself, trailer! My fellow Ravenclaws were furious. It says right there in Hogwarts history that no one can apparate onto the grounds of Hogwarts. The nearest you can apparate is Hogsmeade. Our fellow Ravenclaws need to do some more research. It's true, in Harry Potter's time you cannot apparate onto the grounds at Hogwarts. However, Fantastic Beasts is set in 1927, before Hogwarts history was written, so it stands to reason that the charm wasn't always in place. After all, Dumbledore is still only the Transfiguration teacher, not the headmaster. There's a fair chance that he put the charm in place in the first place. So, my fellow Potterheads, calm down. This was Rowling's way of making you do your homework. Crafty of her. But the next thing we see is Newt going to Paris, and the put-outer being used. What happened to robes? Excuse me? What happened to robes? All of the wizards are dressed remarkably for their time period. Was there a sudden ban on Muggle clothing between the 20s and the 90s? I never thought about that. We're back in Europe. And England. So did Hogwarts change their dress code for their professors? Not that there's anything wrong with Jude Law in a tailored 20s suit.
You'd know Newt is not a great follower of orders.
Dreamy. He's not Auburn. Such beautiful eyes. He's not Auburn. He's perfect. He's not Auburn. I know I'm harping on a point here, but it's a very specific detail that Rowling gave us about Dumbledore. Don't get me wrong, I think Jude Law is perfect for a younger, more reckless Dumbledore. Unknown is if the duel that killed Dumbledore's sister has been fought, or if Grindlewald and Dumbledore's relationship will be explored on screen. Either way, I think Law will bring a very different spin on the character. We then see the usual suspects. Tina, Queenie, Jacob, and of course Grindlewald. Very much not in prison. Tina's looking awfully dark. You did catch that their last name is Rosier, right? You escaped off to nerdy land there for a moment. Rosier is a surname of one of Voldemort's Death Eaters. Uh-oh. Indeed, could Newt be falling for another witch who's bad news? We also see that Credence is alive and not blown to smithereens, and that there's a woman with him, Nagini. As in Voldemort's snake. Yep, that's what the fandom has come up with. There are a lot of theories going around, but Ben over at Super Carlin Brothers gives it a pretty good going over. Click the thingy to see their take on it. Queenie is then in some glass building. If Paris is their destination, I assume it's the French equivalent of the Ministry of Magic. You're not going to say it in French? I think the French would be happier if I didn't mangle their language. Anyway, then we see a dancer swirling what might be ice around in the air. Turns out to be Lita Lestrange, Newt's old beau from Hogwarts. She's engaged to be married to Theseus, Newt's brother. Ruh-roh. Bad news for both Newt and Theseus. Is this what drove a stake in their relationship? Newt and Theseus? Or Newt and Lita? Both. Anyway, the next shot is of the White Cliffs of Dover and then of Newt riding an underwater beast. Pottermore suggests that it's a Kelpie, but if they're in France, they're a long way from the Scottish lochs that Kelpies called home. And you call me a nerd. I came up a little empty-handed trying to find the French equivalent of a Kelpie. But there is a three-headed beast supposedly living in the Allier River. The one we see Newt riding is decidedly single-headed, but it's a place to start. Next, we see someone, presumably Dumbledore, in a tunnel deciphering some glowing symbols. How very Robert Langdon of you. You can have your nerd card back. We see a brief shot of Tina backlit, and then the circus. Newt won't like that. Animals kept in cages? Nope. The banner reads, "Now you're going to mangle French?" You bet. Les Cirques Arcanes Musée des Curiosités Vivantes. Translation? The Mysterious Circus Museum of Living Curiosities. Sounds like P.T. Barnum's freak show. And don't let Greatest Showman fool you. P.T. Barnum was not a nice guy. But we're getting off track. There's obviously something in the cage. And Newt's bowtruckle Pickett runs away. And then there are two explosions. One of a cage, and the other of the side of a building. And then my favorite shot of the trailer. A coach being pulled by 5 thestrals diving off a building. Just awesome. There's a shot of Grindlewald and a voiceover from Dumbledore telling Newt that he has to be the one to move against Grindlewald. Once again, somebody else doing Dumbledore's dirty work. Now wait. Newt successfully captured him before. Dumbledore needs him. He needs his beasts. Dumbledore might be the one to win the duel against Grindelwald. We already know that happens. But it's becoming very apparent that he's going to need Newt's help to do so. We then see Newt and Theseus against something very windy. It would appear that, at least for the moment, the brothers are working together. We get a nice Deathly Hallows symbol in the smoke, and the return of Hedwig's theme with a slightly darker tone. And then the title itself, with the Hallows hidden in it. Phew, that's a lot packed into a 1 minute and 30-second trailer. Yep, there's a whole lot of questions this trailer poses, and I really hope the movie sews all these stories together well. I guess we'll see on November 16th, won't we? Indeed. Until then, I'm Yaya, and do mind the edge.